guys, what's up? It's Joe Rady from Rady's Rides. I'm here at another undisclosed location because we have my very first ever driving in-depth review of any Acura product. This is a 2019 Acura MDX A-Spec. Let's talk a little bit of Acura history. So Acura is that premium brand of Honda. They've been here in the United States since 1986, if you could believe that. I remember, I'm sure some of you remember, the Acura Legend, the Acura Integra, the Acura RSX, of course, the NSX. And now with the MDX and the RDX, they really have a great lineup of vehicles to kind of suit everybody's need, including the TLX and whatnot. With this 2019 MDX A-Spec, there's been some changes that have been done to it, and it's also going to give you a good balance between family hauler and also some nice all-wheel drive performance, because this has the SH all-wheel drive system. So let's go ahead, we're going to dive right into this MDX A-Spec. So right off the bat, you'll see the really sharp looking headlights. Acura has such a unique design with their LED headlights. These things are nice and bright. One thing to point out is that with the A-Spec, the housing is all blacked out, and you can see that with the headlight design. As we come down, I like the way they keep that same setup for the lower fog lights. There is a functional air curtain. My only zonk at the front is this large fake grille area. I wish they could have done something just a little bit different, but I like the chrome accents and the gloss black. Now, as we transition across the front here, really great looking grille. Acura has done such an amazing job with the grille. My favorite part is I love the way everything is moving away from that central location of the badge. Underneath here is going to be all the radar and laser detection, because this has obviously lane keep assist and all that good stuff, but really think the grille, especially in a flat black, spot on. Now as we come down, we have flat black here, a little bit different design. I'm okay with it. It works. It looks great. I wish they would have added just a little bit extra front lip spoiler, because this is the A-Spec, but you can see how they brought the gloss black in just enough. And I also like on the A-Spec the darker chrome finish, very nice. But all the way from right to left, very aggressive looking, and it really stands out from the rest of the SUV crowd. Now with this hood, very sharp, distinct lines, especially this central one that starts right about here and works its way towards the windshield, gives it a very muscular look. And that's something that's hard to do, like I keep saying, on a lot of these SUVs. But let's go ahead and we're gonna transition nice and slow around the bend here. You can see the Acura badge nicely placed inside there. And I like the way that they kind of angle it right into the fender. Now, as we drop down, this is something that's gonna be A-Spec specific. Say that 10 times fast. 20-inch wheel, the color of it is called shark gray. And you know what? I think they did a great job hitting the nail. 20-inch wheel, nice size, fully ventilated rotors. This thing, even though it weighs a little over 4,200 pounds, it brakes pretty good. And you'll see that when we go ahead and take this one for a spin. But I like the overall setup of this vehicle. Going into the fender, one thing I want to point out is the placement of the A-Spec badge. I really think that's an attractive looking badge. Like the little tinge of red on there, really pops with the white. And I like to see special trim levels like this, because there are those like you and I that maybe we need a larger vehicle for whatever our needs are every day, but we want something that's a little bit sporty, and this is going to cover all the bases. Another thing I just want to point out is that the MDX right now is the top selling 3-row SUV out of all of them when we look at the premium upscale luxury performance SUVs. And that's what the brand is all about. It's about performance and luxury. As we go down the side, they took that beautiful white, spilled it on the side mirrors here, very slim LED turn signals, and I like the overall greenhouse. Not too tall. I'm glad that they didn't put roof rails on it or anything like that. Keeps it nice and sleek. A little bit of gloss black. Down here on the bottom, you have a lower extension sill panel that has the gloss black, really ties it in nicely. And as we work our way back, it has some really nice shape to it. When we come around the tail here, I think it was very smart to do gloss black on the spoiler up here. It's very low. It extends out very nicely. I wish they would have hid the wiper from the rear window up in there just to kind of clear off the whole back. So I am going to kind of zonk that, especially in that luxury premium SUV. You see a lot of these integrated up top. There's our MDX logo. Very functional, great looking LED taillights. This is that SH all-wheel drive A-Spec. You're going to get the larger exhaust. I like the way there's a little bit of personality here going on with the rear bumper cover. And all the way across, you get a nice diffuser. And then there's that A-Spec badge again with a little bit of black chrome. Very nicely done. I'm just so grateful for Acura to lend me a press fleet vehicle so that I could bring it to you. But speaking of this A-Spec, let's pop the hood and see what's powering it. All right, guys, we got the hood popped on this 2019 Acura MDX A-Spec. Let's take a look. I'll be honest, not much to look at, so I am gonna zonk underneath the hood. There is a engine cover. It looks like it was made by Rubbermaid, but I do like the Acura badge that they placed there. That was a nice touch. But what you're looking at underneath all that plastic is a 3.5 liter V6 mated to a 9-speed automatic transmission, 290 horsepower, 260 foot-pounds of torque. This weighs in at 4,239 pounds. You could tow up to 5,000 pounds with this A-Spec. MPGs, not too shabby. 19 in the city, 25 on the highway. And another wonderful thing that you get when you go the A-Spec route is that this one has the active dampeners. So you'll see when we take this for a spin, the dampeners are going to do their business to give you the best ride all the time, no matter what the road conditions are, especially when things get a little twisty. And that's another surprise. It definitely surprised me. This thing could actually handle and keep you planted with that SH all-wheel drive. But why don't we go ahead, fire it up, and see what an MDX sounds like. All right, guys, we're inside the 2019 MDX A-Spec, and I'm telling you right now, when they dropped this car off for me, I was like blown away as soon as I opened up the doors. Now, I know you're probably saying, Joe, I really like this MDX. I like the sporty aspect of it. It's looking good. How much does it cost? MSRP, the way you see it sitting, and this is pretty much fully loaded, is it's around $56,000. Now, when you compare that to other cars in the segment, I think you're gonna realize you're gonna get a lot of bang for the buck, plus you're getting that great Acura reliability. Let's go ahead and check out the door panels. One of my favorite things in this car. I love the soft material at the top, the silver trim, and the Alcantara material with the red stitching, leather on the armrest with the red contrast stitching. Nice and soft, looks good, feels good. And I also like the design that they're using. It's not like a faux carbon fiber, it's like a black silverish trim. Really great job on that design. Now, as we transition straight onto the dash, very soft material. I'm liking the shapes in here. It's a little different than what you're gonna see in everything else out on the road. There's that same trim from the door with the silver. One thing that's a little weird for me, and I am gonna zonk it, is this dual screen setup. I like the large screen up top where we have our navigation. It's not a touch screen. You got to use the control wheel here to go through different features and whatnot. If you want to go into your phone, if you want to go back to navigation, all that kind of stuff. It's as we go down here, this screen. Now this screen is going to handle like your AC controls. Now I know you're probably saying, well, Joe, aren't these AC controls? Yes, but that's why I'm zonking it. Why do we have these manual controls here, these actual real tangible switches and buttons, and then up here we have to touch the screen? One of my biggest gripes, especially living in Florida, is the car's parked outside. I come into the car, I want to adjust the blower speed, and guess what? You have to do it here. You have to do it on the screen and not an actual knob. So I am going to zonk that. I do like the driver info wheel here, very easy to use. It looks great. The buttons are real clear. And then as we go to the center console, you have a wonderful felt line little holder here with a 12 volt. You could put something fancy in there you don't want to get scratched, and then you close it up. We have two cup holders, very attractive looking key fob that's going to power your MDX. One thing I want to point out is that it does have where you could remotely start the engine, which is a nice feature. Love the material in here. This almost feels like Mercedes-Benz, that's a definite plus. When it comes to shifting, everything's going to be done all push button. This does have sport mode. This is going to control our dynamic mode. So you have 3 different settings, which I'll show you that on the business end. You could shut off that pesky automatic start-stop feature. Love this right here. Now look how smart Acura is. They put some rubber strips here because they know, check it out, they know you're going to have your phone laying here. And this is going to help keep it in place. You open this up, lots of room, so much connectivity, I can't believe it. There's 3 different USBs, an aux jack, and another 12-volt armrest. Look how wide this thing is. I love how wide it is. I like the red contrast stitching. You can slide it forward, slide it back, open it up, more room in the back side, or you have another little tray in here to put whatever you want. And then really, the top prize, especially for the passenger, are these seats. Love the leather, love the red leather, the Alcantara, the red contrast stitching, the black piping, very, very upscale. Love the finish. They're ventilated and heated, 12-way adjustable seats. So you're really gonna be able to fit it like a glove to your body. And I'm telling you, 6 feet tall, even with the sunroof, feel great. Now I am gonna zonk the sunroof. I think at this price point, we need a panoramic roof so that the passengers in the back get some vitamin D. But you know what? It still feels really good up here. Come on over to the business end and I'll show you behind the wheel. All right guys, business end, like I was telling you, great space for the driver. My second favorite thing besides the seats, probably actually, it's like a tug of war. Is it my favorite? Is it not my favorite? Is the steering wheel. Acura did a bang up job on this wheel. Love the thickness. The 10 and 2 notches are perfect, exactly the way I like them. You have the A-Spec badge here, tastefully placed. There's that Acura logo, and I like the thumb wheels. It's real easy to go through your information. You have a pretty good size paddle on both left and right to go down and up your gears, but it's the touches. Let me show you. You see how we have the silver here? Little things like that just show that Acura did their homework and wanted to bring it up another level. When it comes to instrumentation, I like the layout. It's real simple and right to the point. So you have an analog tach, speedometer, temperature gauge, and fuel gauge. You have that digital display in the center, which you could go through different features and functions. And I think that just makes sense at the end of the day. But boy, I feel comfortable with the A-Spec. You do get the aluminum pedals down there. Check out the size of that dead pedal. I mean, that thing, you could get 10 people's feet on that dead pedal. That's how wide it is, but that's how it should be because you want to brace yourself for the turns in this thing because I'm telling you, wait until we take it for a spin. It handles like the business. Speaking of some business, let's go ahead and check out where the passengers are going to be sitting. All right, guys, backseat time, where your passengers are going to be playing while you're playing up front. Actually quite spacious back here. Remember, I'm 6 feet tall. You can see the headroom I have. I really like how they brought the features from the front to the rear. Let me show you. On the backs of the seats, they wrapped everything in leather. I like the way that they went black leather because remember, if you have kids, they got sticky fingers, they put their hands in their mouth, they're not gonna get the nice, beautiful red all dirtied up. Look at this command center. You have rear AC for the passengers back here. You turn it on, turn it off, adjust the temperature. You got 2 USBs, which is really great. And then overall, the functionality of these seats are wonderful. Of course, you're gonna get an armrest. I'm gonna zonk that. I don't like it when the cup holders are right in the center because that's where I like to put my arm. I don't wanna just be right here on the edge. So that needs to be horizontal. We'll put that back. Last thing I wanna show you is just how comfortable it could get back here. So you do have reclining seats, which is really wonderful. And then you could also slide them back and forward, which is really nice. You seen the passenger part? Let's go see what type of things we could put in the cargo area. All right, guys, tail end of the business. The wind's picking up. The wind knows, Mother Nature knows what we're about to show you back here. A lot of space. So you press the button, gives you a little chime to say, hey, watch out. It's a little on the slower side, but that's all right. But look at the amount of room that we have. Now, obviously, that mid-row is gonna do the 60-40 split. I just like the way everything is nice and flat. You could see Acura smartly put a 12-volt right here. Great placement, angled back for whatever you're using. You got a little cubby area over here, and then here's something real smart. Just when you thought, hey, where can I put smaller stuff? That's really wonderful. That's smart engineering. That's why Acura is Acura. Now, I'm gonna put that back down because I wanna show you. You're probably saying, well, Joe, you said this was the top-selling luxury performance 3-row vehicle, right? Well, let me show you how that happens. It's real simple. You're gonna pull this lever here, and then you're gonna use it as a handle. Voila, put the headrest up. That one's ready to go. And now you have 8-passenger capability. Guess what? Before we take it for a spin, 6-foot Joe Rady is gonna show you, can I sit in that 3rd row? Let's go find out. All right, guys, like I promised, I'm gonna get into that 3rd row just to see how usable it is. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up the door. And I just wanna show, before I get in the way, there's a button at the bottom portion of the seat that's gonna slide the seat forward and allow somebody to gain access into the back. So if you're ready, I'm ready. Hopefully I don't throw my back out, but I'm gonna go ahead and get in the back of this Acura. So we push the button, down it goes. It's actually a pretty wide opening, and here we go. Climb on in. You know what? Actually not too shabby back here. It really, you could see, now obviously I have this all slid all the way back. This would need to be moved up a little bit, but I'll go ahead. No, I won't go ahead because then O'Neill is gonna be out of the shot with the camera. But you can see how it's actually not too bad. I still have headroom, and I'm 6 feet tall. So if you have a smaller child, this would be great for them. And to be honest with you, I think if I was a little kid, I wanna be as far away from my parents as I can. This is a nice place to kind of sit in the back. My only gripe is, and this is not just an Acura thing, you hear that? That's called plastic. I wish that they would take the armrests and put some nice soft material back here, because I'm telling you, this is hard as a rock, and you might not care about that passenger on the back, but guess what? They have feelings, and they have emotions, and they want to have a comfortable armrest as well. But if you're ready, I'm ready. Let's go ahead and take this one for a spin. All right, guys, so we're in the 2019 MDX A-Spec. I've really enjoyed driving this Acura, and you know, it's such an honor to be able to receive press fleet vehicles from these great brands, to be able to really experience the car in everyday driving situations. My 2 favorite things about the interior on this car are, first of all, these seats. Ventilated and heated for when it gets cooler, but I definitely got them ventilated now with it being 91 degrees outside. But very comfortable, and I love the look of them. I mean, as soon as I received the car, I opened up the doors and my jaw just dropped on how not only nice they are looking, but when you get into them, they feel really, really supportive yet comfortable. And then my other favorite part of this interior is the steering wheel. Acura did a bang-up job with this wheel. I love just the sporty feel of it. You know, I'm always talking about so many wheels being too thin. This wheel hits the nail right on the head, perfecto, especially with the material. I love the way that they have smooth leather on the top, and then the rest of it is all this perforated leather with the red contrast stitching. It's a great size and really fits my hands perfectly. Overall, everywhere you look feels really nice. It's nice to your eyes, and I'm really digging. I think they did a great job with this black pattern with the silver accents. Really just stands out, and it's not like faux carbon fiber, and it's not like some goofy design. It really fits the car. This being an A-Spec, that sportier version of the MDX, like I talked about earlier, this one has the adaptive suspension, and you got your different drive modes. Now, to go through those modes, you have your dynamic mode button here. You could go through sport, comfort, normal, and that's gonna obviously set up the 4 corners of the car for certain situations, for whatever you need. And then of course, to go into sport, you just hit the drive button again. So like I pointed out, you don't have an actual shift or anything like that. It's all push button, easy to use, easy to understand, and it really frees up this whole area. Instrumentation, very clear, very simple. I think for me, the biggest zonk in here is I'm still not digging the dual screens. I get it. You know, they have your navigation, your backup camera, and all that good stuff is in the top screen. But this bottom screen feels a little too much like wasted space. And for me, it took a little bit. Thankfully, I've had this car for a little while. It took me a little while to get accustomed to the AC controls, because you have buttons and switches for certain functions, but then the rest of it is all through the touch screen. And one important thing for me is the blower switch. You know, sometimes when the car's sitting outside, especially here in sunny Florida, gets hot, you want to jack up the speed of that blower on the AC as soon as you get in. And it's like, there were a couple of times I was like, where the heck is the button? Where's the button? Well, the button isn't an actual physical button, it's on the touch screen. So that to me is a little off, and that's why I'm gonna zonk it. I do like the drive wheel that they have in the center here. Very easy to use, very easy to navigate through different functions, and that's nice. Now remember, the top screen is not touch. The one in the center of the dash is a touch screen. Now I do have it in sport, and doing 60 miles an hour, it's holding the RPM around 2,500 RPM. If I take it out of sport, then that drops the revs to about 1,500. So big difference from when you want to get up and go. To have it in sport, you're going to be a little bit sweeter in that perfect spot for the RPMs to get you going. And when you get on the loud pedal, I mean, this thing goes. When you have it in sport mode, everything is recalibrated, very smooth shifting, very fast reacting out of that transmission. And remember, it's not a DCT, it's a great automatic transmission, and it does the job perfectly. If you want to use the paddles, you can. You just, there's fourth, third, get on throttle, shift, and it shifts fairly quickly with using the paddles. To be honest with you, I'm just gonna go right back into drive, and I think that's how most people are going to drive their MDX or even their A-Spec. Now, if I was on a curvy road, I may have to think twice about that decision, and I may want to put it in a sportier setting. But visibility is great. You have all the safety features that are going to keep you and your family safe. Great crash test ratings on this MDX A-Spec, and I like the sound from that V6. It sounds really good, quiet as can be inside this cabin, very comfortable. You got your sunroof, Alcantara on the door panels. I love the silver trim, and I think that's probably one of my favorite things is I just like the way that they broke up all the different materials inside the car. But like I said, within sport, rolling on throttle to pass and change lanes, it doesn't even drop a gear. It's staying in that gear, and that's a great sign. I'm at a dead stop. I wanted to really showcase that 9-speed automatic transmission and that SH all-wheel drive in this A-Spec. It really is a wonderful system and really helps put the power down. I do have it in sport. I'm gonna let the transmission do its thing, and we're gonna go from a dead stop here. So if you're ready, I'm gonna left foot brake. Here we go. So the shift's very quick. I love the sound coming from the engine. Even over the bumps and whatnot, the way that this active suspension works, it really soaks it up perfectly, even when you're in sport mode. And that's what I really like about this SUV. It truly is a luxury performance SUV, and that's what Acura's brand is all about. And once you get out of the loud pedal, you're back to just cruising and enjoying your ride, and the whole time you're comfortable. But I promise you, from that dead stop, it does put you a little back in the seat. And you know what? With a 3.5 liter V6, with that 9-speed automatic transmission, it really does the business really well, especially when we're talking about, this isn't a featherweight, we're talking about a 4,200 pound vehicle, and it does feel lighter on its feet than you would think. I'm gonna go ahead and go into this right-hand bend. This is a tight 90-degree corner, right hand, and see how she handles. On the brakes, brake pedal feels great. The modulation is great. The feedback, I tip it in. Very, very nice. Really holds well. I come out of the corner, and of course we have some Florida vultures doing their thing. Watch out, guys. Gotta come through. Rady's Ride's coming through. They're flying all over the place. We're getting back on throttle here. But I do like the way it shifts. It's actually quite surprising, because you know me, I'm not a big automatic person, but I do like the way that this MDX A-Spec shifts. Back on the brakes. Great feedback. I'm telling you, great feedback coming from the pedal. Tip it in here. Roll on throttle. pulls you out. Got a little bit of a left-right transition with some elevation change here. Very nice. You feel planted. You feel like you're gripping this thing with the strength of Hercules. Very nice. The feedback is great from the front end. Feels really balanced, very smooth. On brakes. Very nice. Look at this right-hand turn here. Acura really hit this one right out of the park. Not, like I said, not only with the fit and finish in here, because I feel great, but also with how it drives. This SUV is actually pretty fun when you get to a nice little tight twisty section. So hopefully in your neck of the woods, you got a little bit more turns than the 10 or 15 that I have where I live in Florida. But overall, this thing is really, really wonderful. We're gonna keep going down this road here. Everything is real great to get to. Just like I said, the AC is probably the biggest zonk. This screen area down here is the biggest zonk, but everything else is perfect. Spot on perfect. I'm gonna go ahead and shift with the paddles now. So down into fourth, third, coming into this left-hand bend here. Second, shifts nice. Come around the bend. I'm gonna roll on it a little bit here. Fourth. So not too shabby. It really is not too shabby with how it goes through the gearbox. All right, guys, last little bit of twisty bits here, and then we'll get back to our undisclosed location and wrap it up. But I'm gonna use the paddles. Fourth, third, on the brakes. Feels good. Down to second. Very nice. Look at this. It holds great. Coming out of the turn. Shifts. Very nicely done. I'm telling you, this thing handles really, really, really well. Acura did their homework, and I love how that all-wheel drive just grips like Gorilla Glue. It really does. I'm actually enjoying driving an SUV through some tight, twisty bits. Who would have ever thought? Nicely done. Look at this. This is great. Brakes feel awesome. I want to know what secret sauce they got in those pads, but they grip really, really well. And with those 20-inch wheels, you got plenty of rubber there. Very nice. Look at this. Downshift, brakes. Even over the bumps, it just soaks it up and you're going. You're gone. Right-hander here. Second gear. Transition. Very nice. Roll on the throttle and you just go. So hopefully this gave you a little bit of everything when it comes to driving an Acura MDX A-Spec. We're gonna go ahead and wrap this one up and get back to our undisclosed location. So I'll see you in a split second. All right, guys, been another magical time with this 2019 Acura MDX A-Spec. I gotta give a huge thank you to Acura and Chris helping me get access to another press fleet vehicle. There's more to come for not only you, but also all of us here on Rady's Rides. But if these are the types of performance SUVs, luxury performance SUVs you like to see, leave a comment in that comment section. If you're new to the channel and you're on your way out, hit that subscribe button. I promise you it's worthwhile coming back for more. If you are a subscriber, thank you for being part of the Rady's Rides family. If you want to help us keep making you great content here on Rady's Rides, click the link in that description. Get yourself some Rady's Rides merch. It goes a long way. Speaking of going a long way, we got O'Neill filling in for Big Guns McGee. He's out somewhere doing something for the next month, but he'll be back, hopefully, fingers crossed. O'Neill's working the camera like a champ, learning a lot, getting stronger every day, feeding his mind, body, and soul. So thank you, O'Neill, for all that food that you're giving yourself. And just like always, guys, I'll see you on the next ride.